For 5 years now, I have struggled with a condition called plantar fasciitis. This is a condition where the tendon underneath your foot is so tight that it causes pain, and it also inhibits a lot of your motion in your foot. So I was doing my warming up for my first basketball game of the season, and I had experienced a little bit of pain in my heel, but I just sort of ignored it, and I did my kind of normal warm-up that we did, not really thinking much about it. I was into my third quarter of that game when all of a sudden I was sprinting down the court. I heard a pop in the bottom of my foot, and I realized that something was not right. There was a lot of pain, and I didn't have the same motion that I had. I was kind of limping around. I later found out that week that I had indeed torn that tendon. And I hope that as I share with you the importance of stretching and warming up, that you too will be able to prevent things such as that and not, for instance, be in a cast. So a lot of research is being done in this, and there's also a lot of trends in how to be more healthy, and not just in what you eat, but also in how you exercise. But there isn't as much emphasis on warming up and stretching. However, I believe that it can help you not just health-wise, but also financially. No matter your age or how much you exercise now, stretching and warming up can benefit you. As a coach and from my personal experience, I have found that it is valuable, and the research that I've done for this speech has also emphasized that. So as I drew my attention to the importance of stretching and exercising, I realized how much research is being done in this specific field. One such study done by Young and Bem, they are sports medicine experts, and in their 2003 issue in March, their Journal of Sports Medicine and Physical Fitness found that those who, in their experiment, who only stretched before their exercise did not perform as well as those who ran before they did the experiment. This seems as a contradiction. However, I want to emphasize that there's a difference between stretching, just standing and stretching, and actually warming up your muscles. Another expert who was an Olympic trainer and coach, Gail Bernhardt, she said that in her online article posted by Active Network, which is a multinational corporation, that an experiment that they did is they had a whole bunch of men run on a treadmill. Some previously ran to warm up their muscles, and some did not. And those who did not warm up before they did a high intensity run for only 15 seconds, that they experienced 70% of them had abnormal electrical activity in their heart. And they said that this was attributed to low blood supply to heart muscles. Both of these experiments show how much your body is affected when you don't warm up before you exercise. So why do we need to exercise then? And specifically, why do we need to warm up before we exercise? Well, inevitably, we are all getting older. We can't avoid that. And physical trainer Liz Niporent and her co-author, Suzanne Schlossberg, she's also a journalist, they both explained in their second edition of Fitness for Dummies on page 216 that as you age, your tendons, which are the tissues that connect muscle to bone, begin to shorten and tighten, restricting your flexibility. So as you stretch, that loosens the muscles and the tendons, specifically muscles such as your back and the muscles behind your legs. When you loosen that, you're going to avoid many back problems. And if you don't, these authors said that if you don't and you neglect to stretch and warm up, that the muscles that are tight, it'll cause imbalances, which can then lead to injuries. So though injuries are not directly connected to a lack of exercise or to a lack of stretching, they can lead to symptoms that will lead to injuries if you neglect stretching. So how can we prevent it? It's simple. Preventing injuries, you can warm up before exercising and also stretch. The New York Times posted an article on October 31, 2008 by a researcher named Gretchen Reynolds, and he said the right warm-up should do two things. Should loosen your muscles and tendons to increase the range of motion of various joints and literally warm up the body. A well-designed warm-up starts by increasing body heat and blood flow. So based off of his findings, two things can come out of that. First, you can increase your mental capability. because when your blood is flowing, your oxygen can get to your brain faster. That's probably the reason why my dad told me to do push-ups before an exam that I had. And the second thing is when you loosen those muscles and tendons, like I said before, you can prevent injuries. So how can we put that into our daily regular habits? It's pretty simple. All you have to do before you exercise, or even just in the morning, you can just go on a really light jog. A simple 2-minute jog will warm up your body. And a lot of people argue that warming up and stretching takes so much time, but it doesn't necessarily. Or you could do dynamic stretching, which is simply, instead of standing and stretching, you move while you stretch. So doing something like a lunge or skipping. And the most important thing is that your body is getting warm when you do that. No matter what you do, your body should be getting warm, and even maybe a little bit of sweat. And these things will decrease the likelihood of you injuring yourself, which will decrease the amount of doctors and chiropractors you have to visit, which will benefit you both time and money-wise. Those are both huge things that we can benefit from. And those who don't want to spend the time and the money, remember that this can save you that time. So in conclusion, as our culture and just different schools and things like that, they try to encourage health. And for instance, we have Fitbits that people wear, and you have walking benefits. Different corporations give you benefits if you get so many steps in. And as you do that, remember that the part before that, the warming up and the stretching, is just as crucial as the exercising to avoid things like injuries. And also to make you just feel better, because it gets that blood flowing to your brain and to the rest of your body. So remember, daily things such as standing and walking, even if you're not exercising, say, in basketball, even if you're not doing basketball, even if you're just standing and walking around and you're getting tired, stretching can help alleviate some of that pain. So don't be like me. Don't end up in a cast. You might not necessarily end up in a cast, but definitely warming up and stretching can help you feel better and put you on the path to a healthier life.